Okay, hello everyone. So this is an impromptu live stream. I made a post in Facebook on Sunday, and it was just a task 2 question. And I said, you can win an essay correction. Post your essay here. I'll go through it, give you feedback, show your scores. So that's what we're going to do today in this video. I just want to select the winner and give them feedback. The reason I'm doing it live, and I will schedule it next week, even though I didn't schedule it this week, I will schedule it for next week. And as I'm giving feedback, perhaps there are things you don't understand or you have questions about what I'm doing. And well, I'll be here. Hi, Shira. Good to see you here. Wasn't expecting anybody, to be honest. But yeah, and then at the end of the lesson, I have another task for you, and I'll repeat the process. So this will be in YouTube and in Facebook. Question at the end of this lesson, you write your full essay to that. I'll choose a winner and give feedback. So I'm going to start doing this regularly, presuming that's what you all want. And if it's not popular and nobody's interested, then we can stop as well. As always, I just want to share with you my lessons on task 2, because watching me give feedback here isn't. Hi, Tuba. Watching me give feedback here isn't really going to help you if you don't know what an essay should look like. So you might see some mistakes here and you go, okay, I didn't realize that's how it needs to be done. So the purpose is still to help everybody, not just the person whose correction I'm given. But do complete those lessons so you know how to write your own essay. Tuba, good. Yeah, you absolutely will. But again, I just shared those lessons, and you do want to complete those lessons to make sure you know what to do. So this week we only had 4 people participate. So those are the 4 people here, and I'll just use this piece of software to find the winner. Okay, so the person was House Rental. I doubt that's their real name, but that makes no difference to what we're doing here. Okay, so let me just copy the question, or excuse me, copy the answer, and I'll paste it in here. So there's our answer, and this is the question that I posted. So I'm just going to give feedback for the first paragraph, and then I will come back and see if anybody has any questions. One thing that needs to be done is you definitely need to break up the paragraphs, leave a line between each paragraph so that the examiner can clearly see that. The second thing I'm interested in is the word count. In general, you should aim for about 280. It has to be more than 250, but 280 is a good length because you can comfortably know if your essay is long enough or not when you aim for about 280. If you try to go just over 250, you'll end up having to count how many words you've written. You don't want that. If you go too long, the problem with that is that you're not using your time effectively. Even if you can write really quickly, it would be much better to use the additional time to correct vocab, correct grammar, even spend more time at the start to make sure that your plan is effective. Hi, Sylvia. Good to see you here. And good. Thanks, Tuba. Okay. So this essay is 275 words. So that's a very good length. The first thing I'm expecting is this question statement to be paraphrased. So essentially say the exact same thing, but try to use different words as much as possible. So the question says, some people believe that it's acceptable for the media to publish the details of famous people's private lives. Mass opinions, that's not a very common phrase, is divided, whether mass opinion, the opinion of the masses, or let's say the opinion of the masses is divided as to whether it is tolerable or unfair to circulate well-known persons' exclusive lives. No. In the mainstream media. So when you're writing your paraphrase, and this happens a lot where students want to use none of the words from the question, and when you do that you end up with a paraphrase that doesn't have the same meaning, or it's confusing. And really, if you do need to take one or two words from the question, or if you have no like direct synonyms that you can use, it's it's better to copy words from the question than to write in a way that it's not clear. So that there isn't very clear, and that's, even though this person is trying to show their vocab range, they're actually using vocab inaccurately, and that's going to hurt the vocab score. Okay, so let's get back into the essay. So the next thing I'm looking for is an outline statement with the main ideas. So I'm not sure, this doesn't look like an outline statement. It is acceptable for some notable people to divulge their private lives to the public if it is what they make for a living. So that's quite unclear, and this is a vocab issue. If this is what they make for a living, so make, I'm not sure what they're making. So you'd have to say what they are making, not just like assuming that the reader will know what you're referring to. So even with this, I'm looking at a vocab score of band 5 at this point, because there have been times already that I don't understand what you're trying to communicate. So that's obviously going to be problematic. However, full disclosure without prior authorization should come to an end if it will endanger their life and will jeopardize the completion of their task. So some grammar mistakes there, but those are not as significant as the vocab mistakes. So the person who wrote this isn't fully familiar with what IELTS expects in a discuss both views and give your own opinion essay. Now, essentially what we want is an introduction that paraphrases the question as we saw, but more accurately. Then what we want is an outline that says the people with the first view think this because, and then a specific reason why they think that. The people with the second view think what they think because, and then a specific reason why they think that. So that's two main ideas. One to show why some people have the first view, one to show why some people have the second view. And then the end of the introduction will be your own opinion, because the question says discuss both views and give your own opinion. Your opinion will be either you agree with the first group of people, you agree with the first view, or you agree with the second group of people. That's the easiest way to do it, because that means that you're definitely on track. It is directly related to the question, and you're not worried that your answer's going deviating from what the question asked. So in general, the last part of the introduction would be, I agree with the first view because, and then your third main idea, and you'll say what that third main idea is. So I think for this person, so far they're pushing themselves to use vocab they're not sure of, and they don't know how to construct an essay the way that IELTS wants the essay constructed. Hi, Sitham. Good to see you here. In fact, good to see everyone here. I thought I'd be by myself, so good to see everyone. Okay, so back into the question again. So we do have an opinion. Is that this person thinks that it shouldn't be allowed. So they agree with the second view. So we do have, so far, we have this much of the question, but without discussing both views and giving your own opinion, you're not going to get a band 6 for task achievement. So what we're looking at, we need to see both views discussed at some point in this essay. Okay, so moving down, several well-known celebrities rose to fame due to all sorts of publicity, which some are bad stuff. So this, again, this is vocab, some of which are, so again, that's actually unclear. But still add up to their profile raising, promotion. Again, just the vocab is really, I'm really struggling to understand. And with that, you're not going to get more than a band 5, potentially lower. Whenever people talk about them, they make money out of it. So this is another, they make money from that. So again, collocations and vocab is definitely the main issue for this student. They owe their success to their avid fans and critics, so avoiding their private lives to be circulated in the media is not easy for them to shut down. I don't see how that's connected. So so the question isn't about what the people gain from it. It's whether it should be stopped or not. So it's essentially the first view, it's okay to publish the private lives of these famous people. It's okay to publish the details. And the other view is it's not okay to publish the details. So you have to say, why do some people think it is okay to publish the details? That's what we're looking for. That's not clear from anything that's been said so far. The good example of this is the Kardashians, whom they publicity stream their private lives to accumulate followers. So they published, let's change that. So this is another vocab mistake. They publish details of their private lives to accumulate followers and influence their supporters to endorse their products. So I can see you're trying to follow a structure of topic, sentence, explain, and example. Vocab issues are a problem. The first sentence needs to clearly state what the main idea is. The explanation needs to directly explain it, not just talk about it in general. And with this example, this is an example of the Kardashians publishing details of their own private lives. But the question isn't about people publishing details of their own private lives. It's about social media platforms or, magazines and newspapers finding out about people's private lives and publishing details that they found out. So it's not about, let's say if I was a celebrity and I was publishing the details of my private life, that's my choice. That's got nothing to do with this question. Whereas the question is about other people finding out your information and publishing that. So if I'm the one doing it, or if the Kardashians are the one doing it, that's not related to what the question is talking about. That's related to private details being published, but not about what the question asked. So far, the fact that we have got that little bit of an opinion out of that previous part, we're still at a band 5 for task achievement, but I haven't got a reason to support either view yet. And I think a lot of this comes from, perhaps it could also be a misunderstanding of the question and analyzing the question more carefully. And I know a lot of students and a lot of candidates, when they're writing a task 2 essay, the main concern is, I only have 40 minutes. I need to get this done as quickly as possible. And I don't have time to spend analyzing the question. But you see what happens is, if you don't analyze the question properly, you don't know what you're supposed to talk about. If you don't know what you're supposed to talk about, your answer will not be directly responding to the question, and task achievement score is going to stay low. Then it could be also a language issue. So perhaps the student genuinely just didn't understand the question, and the solution to that, of course, is to improve, your general English level. You're not going to get a good score unless you can actually understand the question itself. Hi, Ranjana. Good to see you here. Okay, so let's continue on to the next paragraph. There are also prominent persons isn't very often used. we just say people, and like generally we don't say persons, even though it is an English word. We generally won't use that. There are also prominent people who are famous due to their chosen profession. So the invasion of privacy. So invasion of privacy should be put to a stop when there is no popular authorization acquired prior to dissemination. So again, this student is definitely studying vocabulary, probably working very hard on vocabulary, but not studying vocabulary in enough detail that they can use the word correctly. So they might loosely know how to use the words. But again, even though you might think using more common vocabulary will not help you get the score you need, this student, if they had used just standard English, no less common words, and communicated clearly, they would definitely bring their band score up for vocabulary and for everything, because at the moment with coherence and cohesion, I have to understand what you're saying. So that's the vocab score and the coherence and cohesion score is suffering. And then even, there might be parts of this essay where the main ideas are relevant, or maybe they did have the appropriate main ideas, but because I can't understand parts of this text, the task achievement score is suffering as well. Publishing a personal matter about their personal lives may risk their safety and privacy. Therefore, usage of freedom of disclosure must be limited to a certain point if it will compromise the accomplishments of their duties and responsibility. So this is quite complicated. You want to keep your ideas simple, and it should be just one main idea. But what we are getting from this particular sentence is a response to why people think it should be stopped. Now, they haven't said that directly. They haven't said the people who think it should be stopped are worried that it may risk the celebrity's safety and privacy. So that is a main idea that's suitable. So that's good, but it hasn't been clearly stated that that is why this group of people think that it should be stopped. So that needs to be clearer. And the rest of this sentence gets confusing because it seems like you're trying to communicate too many ideas at the same time. What would be really, really helpful as well is to sit down and plan the essay in advance. So what do you intend to say? What is your main idea? How are you going to explain that? How are you going to exemplify that? And if you go, you sit down, you plan your essay in advance, it does take a little bit of time, but it makes the writing process much, much faster. So even though it seems like an extra task is saving time. An extra task is adding extra time to what you need to do. But that's not the case, because if you're trying to write your essay and think of your ideas at the same time, it's more difficult to analyze them. Whereas if you write down a plan and you can check, like, is this idea specific? Is this idea relevant? Is my explanation within the context of the question? Is my example referring to the main idea that I'm discussing? You can sit down, and when you have a written plan, you can analyze that much more easily than if you're trying to write and think of ideas at the same time and you're not really 100% sure what you're going to say yet. So as you're writing the essay, the ideas are coming to you, but maybe they're not exactly related to the topic. So it's very easy to go off track. Hi, Vicious. Please select mine. So I had, you'll see at the start of the video, I had a random lucky draw generator app. But there's another task at the end of this lesson, so you definitely have another opportunity. So get involved again. Hi, Jervin. Good to see you here. I'm very surprised how many people are here. It's great to see everyone. Okay, so that's what we're looking at so far. Let's get back into this essay again. Growing usage of social media made a huge impact on how the person's secrecy is being protected. It is almost impossible to restrict someone else's invasion of privacy due to the latest technology, where it is easy to upload data regardless of the source, regardless of if the source has been verified. So source has been verified. So this is not specifically discussing famous people. So the question is about famous people's private lives, and this doesn't sound like it's directly related to that. Also, we're not worried about whether the information is true or not. So it's not that if the information about the famous person's private life is true, then it's okay to publish. So it's not about whether we should or shouldn't be allowed to publish those details unless they're true. It's about we should or shouldn't be allowed to publish them, full stop. So whether the information is accurate, whether the information is not accurate, whether they're lies, whether they're fact, whether they're fiction, that's not the concern of this essay. The concern is specifically, has this person answered, can we publish those or not? So this person really hasn't answered. They came close to discussing the second view, but they didn't clearly state that they were discussing the second view. I was able to extract the opinion of the person, but they didn't develop that. So what we're looking at here, because that slight response here and here, we're going to get a task achievement score of band 5. Coherence and cohesion, mostly because of the issues with grammar, mostly because of the issues with vocabulary, where there were parts of the essay I just didn't know what they were trying to say. So for this person, more than anything, working on vocabulary is the most important thing. I think there might be a chance this person didn't understand the question. That's because of vocabulary. Coherence and cohesion score suffered. That's because of vocabulary. The vocabulary score, lexical resource, that's a band 5, simply because there are parts that I didn't understand. You're not going to get a better score unless you can clearly communicate throughout. Now, to get a band 6, you can make lots of mistakes as long as I understand what you're saying. So you could make collocation mistakes, maybe, that type of thing. And you can make plenty of mistakes with a band 6, but you need to be very clear throughout. So that is the point that I'm trying to make there. For grammar, a band 6, that's probably the best part of this essay. There were some grammar mistakes, but none of the grammar mistakes made it so that I wasn't sure what the person was saying. So this overall score for task 2 is going to be a band 5. Band 5 overall. Now for this person, without a doubt, working on improving general English level is the very, very most important thing, and the thing that they definitely need to do. But besides that, they do need to learn how to construct the essay. Without that information, their task achievement score isn't going to get higher because they didn't know how to respond. But before that, I would say improving their general English is going to be the key. Vicious. enter this week's draw. I don't give one-on-one feedback because I'm trying to help as many people as I can. If I get into giving one-on-one feedback, I mean, how many people are going to see the recording? How many people have seen the post that I put up? If I'm giving everybody one-on-one feedback, I won't have time to sleep. So I appreciate why you're asking for it. I understand, but come along. I got my free live feedback lessons. Get involved. Let me post the link for that there. I have free live feedback lessons every week, and they're on Zoom. They're for task 1, speaking and writing. There's plenty of more support that you can get from me, but I'm not going to specifically give you band scores on your own writing, because that would be unfair to the other students. If I give it to you and I don't give it to everybody, that's not fair. But with this lucky draw, everyone participates. I choose a winner. You know, there's nothing unfair about that. So I'm happier with that setup myself. But no harm in asking, Vicious. Jervin, how can I join your essay writing? Where can I send it? So I have, you know about my live streams. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you a question right now, and you can participate in the lucky draw for next week. But also, I just pasted a link. I just put a link in the comments for my free live feedback lessons. Get involved in those as well. So, you know, there's plenty of free feedback that I'm giving to people every week. So just get involved. So with that in mind, let me just jump down to the question that I want you to answer for next week. Let me just get the document here. So this here is the question. Nowadays, for many people, shopping is a leisure activity rather than something that needs to be done out of necessity. What problems can this cause? What can be done to resolve this? So what I'd like you to do is, there's no rush. I'm going to be making another video. I'll choose another winner based on this question, the answers I get to this question, this day next week, around this time, a little bit earlier, because I hadn't actually planned on going live, but I will go live next week. So, Jervin, that's perfect. While I'm live and the fact that there are people here, does anybody have any questions for me? That's basically, I've done everything I wanted to do in the lesson in this video. So, you know, considering the fact people are here, do you have questions about the feedback that I gave? Was there anything confusing? Do you have questions about other parts of the IELTS test? You know, I can spare a few minutes if anyone does, and if not, we'll finish up there. I do have a live stream tomorrow as well, so you can come along to that if you are free. Seems like nobody has any questions. That's fine. But make sure to get involved in my live streams, my live feedback lessons. Make sure to write an answer to this question on your screen right now. Post it in the comments. I'll select a winner, give feedback on that. And as well, make sure to help me by sharing the news about complete test success. Any IELTS groups you're in, any friends you have doing the IELTS test, send them my way and let me help them as well. You're very welcome, Jamelia. Very welcome, Jervin. Oh, that was a tongue twister for me. You're very welcome, Jervin. Okay, great to see everybody here. That was unexpected. And take care of yourselves. I'll be back tomorrow with my Task 2 live stream. So I'll see you then, if not later today, in my Task 1 live feedback lesson. That's the one you sign up for with the link that I just sent earlier. Vicious, you're very welcome. Yep, you're very welcome, Tuba. Good to see you here. And yeah, take care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye.